Hey folks, so earlier I did the character creation video with this new character sheet here, and in that I explained everything. It took about half an hour to 40 minutes by the time I was done spieling at the beginning. Just me explaining every single point along the way, but in that I mentioned that once you kind of get the hang of it, you could do it closer to, I think I said 5 or 10 minutes. I think realistically 10 to 15 is a more comfortable pace, unless you're like trying to set a record, which could be a fun contest, I don't know. But I got curious as I was kind of wrapping up for the night here how close I could actually get to that. So this is going to be me doing that. We're going to start the clock here in a second, and I'm just going to build another 3-class character. I've already put some thought into what kind of character. I've been like brainstorming, but I haven't pulled up all the information yet. So I'm going to try and keep it fair, even though I know the system obviously very well. Yeah, but so aside from just being a neat challenge for myself here to see if I was talking nonsense earlier, I actually thought this would be useful just so you could get an idea if you're curious, like what it looks like when you're putting together a character with this sheet without having to stop and explain every single thing, and just kind of a more organic, like, oh yeah, I'm putting together a new character for my new game and I've played this before. So this is kind of what that looks like. So without further ado, we're going to start the clock here. I'll put up a thing on screen, and yeah, I've already cheated a little bit. I'm on the species page here, so let me go back. Okay, so let's do it. I'm going to name this character first thing. Do a 1 character level name. I'm going to put, this is for an old friend of mine because I'm actually going to make a Centaur Berserker. So first game I ever ran as a GM, buddy of mine played a barbarian centaur, and it was a lot of fun. So we're gonna make it large. Why not? Big old horseman. Centaurs get ether flow, so that's gonna be +1 to regeneration. Huzzah! So I'm gonna go ahead and put a pip down there. Speed is 45. Centaurs are fast. Dark vision, no. Great. Okay, charger is our centaur feature. 2 movement actions in a turn. You may make a single attack as part of the second action. If 2 movement in 1 turn, attack as part of second. I'm just going to do some shorthand so I know, and I can always look it up if I need to. Fleet, your overland travel speed matches that of other humanoids instead of marching on foot. Other humanoids riding instead of other. That's kind of a niche perk. Overland travel doesn't come up too much in some campaigns, but in some it's very important. So I'm just gonna put overland travel buff there. Probably won't come up if you're doing dungeon crawls and stuff, but if you're like trekking across the continent, could be a thing. All right, major class. I already know I'm gonna do Berserker. I'll pull that page up in a second. And I'm thinking for my other ones, what I want to do is actually Blink Mage. Obviously, I already know what classes I've been looking at, and Warrior. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to do these in reverse because it's faster to do the classes where you have less to do, the influence and the minor class. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Warrior first. So let's see. Warrior is a martial class. That's +1 to our stamina capacity. Primary stat is might, secondary stat is fortitude, and we're going to go ahead and buff our might with that choice. I'm going to put a little pip right here for later. Fantastic. We don't have to worry about toughness. Great. Okay, level 1 warrior stuff. It doesn't have a casting time. So level 1 warrior stuff. Or it doesn't have a casting type. Combat style. I'm envisioning like a big old axe or sword for this guy, so I'm going to do slashing. Once per round, when I would deal damage to chosen type, additional damage dice. 1 per round. Extra. Oh, my handwriting. Damage die of the chosen type when I hit. Okay, great. Critical effects. I like to put my crit effects in a separate area. Train strike. When I deal, in this case it would be slashing damage, I may maximize 1 die on a crit. This is going to be an extremely high damage output melee build. Okay, great. So combat style and train strike. I don't have to worry about anything else for warrior because this is my influence class. We are done with warrior. Boom. Let's go ahead and jump over to blink mage. Possibly my favorite class because of all sorts of weird teleport and shenanigans. Okay, 4 toughness. It is a mage. Oops. Has 1 mana capacity. Buff, great. Primary stat is fortitude, secondary stat is cleverness, fortitude, cleverness. It is a verbal caster, and we are gonna do 2 to fortitude with this one. Super. Blink disruption. I've used this class before, so I know. Blink disruption is our level 1 feature. I choose what kind of weird thing happens when I teleport. I'm gonna use sound. So I'm not silently teleporting. You gotta kind of choose a debuff with teleportation, although some of its skills turn it around and use it for an advantage. So that's pretty cool. And we're done with Blink Mage. Isn't that great? Let's go over to Berserker. Now this is gonna be more involved because it's our major class, so it also gives us our specializations and our starting equipment on top of our level 1 features. So this is going to take more of a moment here. So might and willpower are our key stats. Toughness is also 4. Martial class, that's 2 to stamina capacity. Because it's our major class, so you get a bigger buff. I'm going to do a 3-1 split on might and willpower. Which will give us a nice might baseline to go off of. Right off the top. Level 1 feature for Berserkers are going to be Berserk, obviously. Which lets me increase my damage versus enemies. Oop, wow, I can't write. And this is start of turn. Less than or equal to my character level. So basically it lets you, I said I wasn't going to explain things, but it lets you kind of wager a bonus for the enemies to hit you, and you do that much extra damage for a turn. And then it gets another critical effect, Frenzy. When berserking, reaction to attack again on a crit. Beautiful. Can't combine crits, critical effects, so I'd have to pick one or the other if an attack triggered more than one, but good to have. Okay, we'll do starting equipment in a moment. First, I'm going to grab Berserker weapons. I get 2 weapons training perks of my choice, because this is my major class, so I get that level 1 specialization as well. And I'm going to go ahead and pick large and giant weapons training. Because I like big swords and I cannot lie. Yes, I'm a dork. Shut up. Okay, starting equipment. Let's do common clothing. Melee weapons. Any 2 small weapons or 1 small melee weapon with a deadly modifier. So let's go ahead and look at our melee options. I think I'm going to go ahead and do 2 hatchets because I think they're neat. I'm just going to double that. So it's going to be 5-foot melee, 25-foot throw. Damage is 2. Damage type is slashing or bludgeoning. So I think the axes and hatchets are neat because you get to choose which one. Let's see, critical effect is Sunder. Special is adaptive, which is what lets me do the slashing or bludgeoning. So Sunder is -1 armor for 1 round. Right. Beautiful. That's correct, right? Yes. Armor class by 1 to the end of my next turn. Okay. All right, so that is my 2 small weapons. Back to Berserker. Any 1 medium, large, or giant melee weapon. So let's go ahead and grab a giant weapon because I think they're cool. And I'm thinking greatsword. It's a 5-foot reach. Damage is 1d12, yes. It is slashing. Critical effect is Swath, which is a cool one. It's 2-handed. So Swath, first of all, gives me a bonus damage dice on a crit, which is immediately nice, and then lets me deal half damage to adjacent repeating. So you can basically, if there's a bunch of creatures around you, you can do max damage to 1, then half, then half, then half, then half, then half down the line when you hit, which is really powerful. Okay, so that's our greatsword. That is our weapons. Berserker. Potions. I'm going to do a potion of health unusual and a potion of stamina mundane. Potion. Let's go ahead and pull those up. Unusual potion of health is 2d4 plus 2. And mundane stamina is simply plus 3 stamina, which lets me kind of have some temporary stamina over my max or regain some as an action if I need it on my turn, which is occasionally very useful. That is it for our primary starting equipment. The only other thing is this is all standard equipment that everybody gets, so I'm just going to write standard adventuring. And then my currency, which is 10 gold, 40 silver, and 300 copper. Excellent. Okay, so we've done all of our class stuff. We've done... Ooh, I'm already at 13 minutes. Oh no. Well, that's for the total recording. Okay, we've already done all our class stuff. We've already done all of our starting equipment. That is the bulk of all of this. I've got 8 more stat points to assign. Let's go ahead and do... I'm going to do 3 here, so that's going to put me at 7. 3. Let's do 2 fortitude will put me at 5 total. And I've got 3 to split up. I think I'm going to do just 3 precision. And that's 8. Okay, great. So 1 willpower, 0 knowledge, 0 cleverness. That's fine. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and fill in some bubbles, and we should be all set here. So 3 precision gives my passive detection up to 7. Armor is going to do fortitude and precision. So precision is 3, fortitude is 2. I don't wear any armor as a berserker, at least not yet, so that is 5. My toughness is 4 plus 4. 8 toughness, no buffs to that yet. There's some perks that'll do that, but we're not worried about it right now. If I add my character level, that means 9 damage per affliction. Have 4, 0, it's 4 there. Stamina and mana, let's go ahead and do that. Might is 7. Half of might is going to be 3 if we round down. Fortitude is 2. Half of willpower is 0 in this case. Character level is 1, character level is 1. Alright, so 7 plus 3 is 10, that's 11. Half of that is going to be 5, no extra buffs there, so that's 8, beautiful. That's a really good ratio for a level 1 character. That's going to be 4 stamina capacity to do my Blink Mage stuff with. 2 plus 1 is 3 regeneration. Should get me some pretty steady teleports every turn. Major class doesn't have spells, Influence class doesn't have spells. My Blink Mage, primary and secondary stats, half my character level is 0 right now. Primary stat is Fortitude, secondary stat is Cleverness, so it's going to be 2 plus 0, 2, 0. That's going to be a 2 for our spell check target. Blink Mage doesn't use a ton of those, so I'm not too worried about it. And then Fortitude again for our spell attacks, which Blink Mage, again, doesn't do a lot of. So not a big deal, but we have it if we need it. And we're done. Stop the clock. All right, so that was just about 15 minutes with me talking through it the whole time and writing everything out. Not too shabby. I do think you could do, if you were building a simple character, closer to 10. But you know what? I'll take 15 with my verbosity, and writing digitally here is not awful. Obviously, someday we would love to have a digital character builder. That is not currently in my personal skill set, but man, hey, go back to Kickstarter and I'll hire someone to do it, right? That is the dream, but I am a one-man show, so there is a limit on how many things I can be good at once. So here we are. But I'm not making excuses, because I think I'm actually quite proud of this. This works very well. That is a character that is Douds the Centaur, a large berserker who can teleport and deal an absolutely embarrassing amount of slashing damage. So that would be pretty fun to run with. Kind of high mobility, high hit rate, yada yada yada. Anyways, I hope that was informative, interesting, or at the very least, good background noise for you. The Relic Kickstarter is still going at the time of this recording. We are about a third of the way to our next stretch goal. We've already unlocked, I think, 4 other stretch goals. I forget. I would have to go count. I've been doped up on cold medicine all week, forgive me. But we're already well into stretch goal territory, and keep adding more. All of our backers are just getting extra adventure modules as part of their pledge rewards at this point, which is so great. So go check that out. We've got an actual play podcast going up on the page there with Sounds Like Adventure, which has been fantastic and has gotten excellent reception from their audience. I thank you all for the kind messages and the excitement about the system and the show. It was my first time GMing on a podcast or performing or anything like that, so the kind words are much appreciated, and I'm glad you're all enjoying it. I'm gonna go collapse into a NyQuil fugue state here. That's about it for me today. I'm tapped out. But yeah, enjoy. Go have fun, guys, and I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.